There comes a time in life where you go through so much pain that drives you insane, and you go through so much calamity that you really just snap and you break and you start to see everything for what it truly is. You see the world as a prison. You see all the things you're going through in this world, these all the negativity, all the people in your life that are toxic and negative, and then life forces you to be around people in school, at your job, even if you go to Disneyland or whatever it is that you go, that you have a high probability of running into a bunch of people, and you stick out like a sore thumb because these people can see and understand that you don't fit in. And especially women. Women can take one look at you and tell that you don't attract women. And what's funny is that women say that they don't want a promiscuous man. They want a guy who's a virgin and all that. But when they really meet a guy who's a virgin in real life and he's over the age of 21, they're disgusted. But they're not disgusted with Chad and Tyrone when they have like multiple sexual encounters with multiple women at a time. They like that. They hold that to high regard. But in this world, you're going to really see everything for what it really is. Somebody can only be fake for so long. Somebody can only be fake for a certain time, and the world can only show you its fakeness before you go through real things in life, which shows you real things. you know, when you see the paradigm of this whole existence, it's pain, it's agony, it's misery, it's conditioning you to just accept servitude for things that you don't even want to do. And you got to think about the people who hurt you, the people that wronged you, the people that seen you at your lowest in life and they still kicked you down and attacked you like merciless shadow sharks. They didn't give a damn because they weren't being affected by it. They absolutely despise you. And you have to understand that you don't have to talk to these people again, be around them again, or even forgive them. But there's no point even thinking about them. Keep them out of your mind because it's just like swallowing poison. It's just going to attack you. I've talked to a lot of people over the last couple of years, when I had my channel, and I've heard so many stories. I've heard so many different types of like life battles that people are facing. People are facing a myriad of demons. They're facing like isolation, mental devastation, and all types of psychological degradations. And one thing that I notice is that they hold on to like the people that wronged them. They think about that sister or brother or that teacher that wronged them. Like I said a long time ago, man, I had a teacher named Miss Dorsey, and I don't know if she's even alive now, but I remember her saying, "Oh, game doesn't mean wild deer or wild animals. That's not what game means." And she got through just telling us that day about the Indians hunting wild game and stuff like that. And I remember this European guy, in front of me, with European, features. We were kids though, but and he went. And you have to read your essay in front of the teacher. So he read his essay and he had the word game in it and talk about, them hunting and skinning the game and all that. And then when I did that, she's like, "No, what does this mean?" I said, game. Game means wild deer. No, it doesn't. No, it doesn't. I said, "You taught us that. You just taught us." "No, I didn't teach you that." Blah, blah, blah. And she held me after class. Like she would always do that to me. Like every single time I would have to write those little essays, she would hold me after class. And I thought I was proficient and efficient at writing. But I don't know if she was intimidated by me. I don't know what it was. But in those days, there were a lot more skin color configuration discrimination, if you will. And it was absolutely brutal. And my whole life, I've been targeted like that. But I can't keep thinking about Miss Dorsey or thinking about those who wronged me in the past. There comes a time in your life where you snap and you gain that clarity and say, "You know what? I need to focus all my energy on my goals and my ambitions. Even if they'll never work out, I still need to do it anyway. I can't think about the people who wronged me or the people that, teased me or laughed at me or the people that made me feel a certain way a long time ago. Holding on to those demons will do you no good. Unless you got to hold on to those demons to make a song or to make a beat or to, use that for fuel for something that brings productivity, that's going to bring monetization, that's going to bring some type of physical or spiritual alleviation. Otherwise, just sitting, in your dark room or sitting wherever you're at and just having that hatred in your heart is no good for you. And everybody has to learn this their own way, because I can't tell you what you should be or should not be mad about, because I don't know your life story unless you sit down and talk to me or email me. And because some people went through some real crap in life, like some people were sexually abused, some people were left stranded, some people were just, They got a rare disease, that makes it unable for them to even try to find a regular job. They got like a father who's in and out of prison. They have, all types of toxic family dynamics and family issues. So I can't tell you what you should or should not hold on, but I can say that if you have some type of clarity and you have some type of talent that you can use to make yourself good, thinking about those people and what they did to you and how it lowers your self-esteem is not good. Because let me give you an example, man. Have you ever been in like a good mood or a decent mood, and then you think about something that happened to you a long time ago? You think about a girl that you like laughing at you or teasing you. You think about people laughing at your shoes or laughing at your clothes and making fun of you. And when you think about that, it's like your mind time travels instantaneously. And those same emotions and those same negative energetic vibrations, you instantly feel them. So you time travel with your mind back to when those people were laughing at you and teasing at you, or that girl that you liked said, "Ew, get away." You know what I mean? Like you time travel your mind back to that, and then now you feel that same negative energy today. So you could be playing your Xbox, playing your PS5 on your PC, playing League of Legends, and you just think about that one time when that girl did this to you, and now you're in a bad mood, and now that bad mood is going to dictate your day. You're going to try to put your Pop Tarts in a damn oven, or the Pop Tarts in a damn toaster, and then as you do that, you burn your hand, and then all of a sudden you wash your hands and you slip on the floor. Like it just leads to just more negative events. So try to keep your mind positive, even if we live in even when you live in a negative world. I know it's more easier said than done. But it comes a time where you just stop worrying about the people who did you wrong, because somebody's going to do you wrong every single day as a negative male. And you have to be strong. That's all I got to say. I'm not saying don't get mad. Of course, get mad. But take that energy and try to transmute it into something that's positive. Do push ups, lift weights. It's cope, but it's all we have in this position. We're not wealthy. We're not handsome. We have no connections. We're isolated. Our own family doesn't even like us. We're lonely. We have mental issues. We lost people in our families. We don't have much. All we have, or we're supposed to have, is just people that with the like minds. But even people with like minds in this community will start doxing people, will start doing weird things, obsessing over a grown man they never known, and it's just weird. So it's like I see why certain girls don't mess with guys that are not attractive. It makes sense because a lot of guys who are in this position, they truly deserve to be in this position. You know, they're evil, they're narcissistic, they're racist, they have their own ways of thinking. They think women should be, just under them just because, like the olden days or whatever. You know, they must have some type of hidden, secrets about themselves because they're just obsessed with a random man they never met. And it's weird. It's strange. Like this community brings some of the most strangest people ever, but also it brings some of the most coolest people. But you can't hold on to so much negativity in the past. I know it's easier said than done. That's why I used to smoke weed a lot. When I smoked a lot of weed, I used to smoke a lot of weed all the time, you know, and I did it because it would help me forget certain memories, certain negative energies and negative emotions that I felt in certain negative events in my life. So I'd smoke and my mind would just go blank and I would forget it. Now somewhere deep down inside, it's still there, but the weed helps, cover it. It's almost like an archon memory ripe, using marijuana, just using that. But I just noticed, man, there comes a time when men just walk away, when men stop caring. And when that happens, society starts to fall a bit, because when a man stops caring about trying to get a woman and cares more about playing his Xbox, when a man stops caring about, working a crappy job and just said, fuck it, I'm just going to do the bare minimum to try to survive. And when a man stops caring about trying to achieve his goals and ambitions, that's when you could start saying that there's a rebellion brewing. We have war vets that come back and they can't even afford housing. Their wives are cheating on them. They gotta turn to marijuana or turn to drinking or turn to video games, and then that's not gonna be able to alleviate the pain inside of their brains. There comes a time when those men gonna say, you know what? I'm just gonna just say F it and just, go off the rails. But I'm saying for us in this position that are not, war veterans, even though we feel like we're war veterans, all the crap we go through, all the PTSD that we have, is that when you keep thinking about these negative events in your life and you think about it consistently and persistently, it's going to have some effect on you. This is one girl I used to get in arguments with in high school. She used to talk about my shoes and talk about me and stuff like that. Now she's married to an NFL player and has been for a decade, and what can I say? On Instagram, it shows her going around the world. She's in Japan, she's in Spain, Germany, Russia, Hawaii, just around the world. They're on yachts, they're on boats, just enjoying her life. And she was a terrible, evil, sick, twisted person. I remember one time, how in class when you watch movies and the teacher turns the lights off. So that happened, and then she was like, she said my name. Was like, oh, where did he go? It's like, oh, I see his teeth, and everybody started laughing or whatever, just basically making fun of my skin color configuration. And I'm just like, what kind of, what I mean, little shit like that, and like always would try to like tease me and do these little things, but then sometimes she'd be extremely serious, like it wasn't joking. So, but she was able to get a multi-millionaire and have her whole life changed. That shows you that there's something that picks who makes it and who doesn't. But for us, we have to understand that we're going to go through hell in this life. Tomorrow, next week, whatever, the next hour, whenever you got work, there's going to be somebody that's going to bother you. Some customers are going to say something to you. Some strangers are going to say something to you. Your boss is going to get on your nerves. I'm saying, feel that emotion. Get angry. Yes, yes, yes. Try to use that anger to try to find another job or try to start working for yourself. But holding on to that anger day in and day out, eventually you're going to snap and go ER. And I don't want you guys to go ER because, it's just not a good thing, right? So try your best to try to find something. Try to find an outlet because it's difficult what we're facing. We're facing isolation. We're facing soul devastation. We're facing hell, Some of us don't even have our driver's license, and we're in our damn 30s or late 20s. And then some of us that do can't even afford a damn car. Some of us in this position has never even, engaged in sexual activity with a fucking female, never, which is absolutely brutal. Some of us has never even, didn't even go to prom. Some of us didn't even graduate high school. I know I didn't, So it's absolutely brutal. We've been through a lot of hell in our lives and we deserve to have happiness, but we're never going to get true happiness because this world doesn't give a fuck about your happiness. It cares about your pain and agony and misery. But just know that holding on to all those negative emotions, I don't care. You know what I do every night, man? I just be real. I used to do this when I had a lot of weed too. But what I usually do, man, is I just try to create my own worlds, if that makes sense. I mean, you have to have a creative mind, but I'll create myself being like a scientist, working on some type of laboratory, you know what I mean? And like in a space station, creating some type of Resident Evil creature or monster, you know what I mean? Like I'm serious, And I would just think this and I'll just try to put my whole mind into that life. Like I'll create characters and do this, that, and the third. It's better when you're extremely sleepy or extremely faded off some good, Mary Jane. Or if you just wake up, you go use the bathroom and you come back and like your mind's still drowsy, and that's like the best time to really think and have these type of dreams. And I just think that, or I think I'm some type of war commander leading an army or something like that, or some type of famous admiral in the high seas or something like that. I think something that puts me in a position of power where in real life I really don't have any type of money, success, or anything of that nature. But in my dreams, I can create anything, and it helps alleviate some of the pain. It's a form of cope. It's a form of just, thinking in fantasy. But it sucks that we can't bring our fantasies into reality and actualization. Can you imagine that? But I just want to help you guys out, man. That's all my channel was for. It was just to help people who are going through social isolation and devastation. But instead, I got trolls. I got family members who don't like me that watch every single video and troll. I got random strangers who may come on a channel and call me N-word, and I just got a lot of hatred. And I didn't do anything to anybody but mind my business and talk about my life. Just like any and everybody else. There's something about me. People keep saying, bro, there's something about you. One day you're going to be famous. I had people tell me that. I'm serious. I had people tell me straight up, you're going to be famous. I'm thinking, well, shit, I've been spitting for a long time. That didn't work. What's funny? I've been making music or making little songs here and there. I never really took it seriously. I'll admit, I never took rapping so seriously. I just, because I didn't truly really believe, after a while, right? So I just make songs here and there, but I never took it really, really serious, like get my streams up, like have official this, have that. I never really took it serious, right? But No one cared about my music, no one. It wasn't until I just started talking about my life that people got interested. Then I started having random people, trolls and all type of crazy crap. Isn't that something? You see how this world works? When you want something to work right, it doesn't. And then something that you just do randomly, just talking on the internet, that blows up. And then it attracts the most evil people who are able to affect you in real life and then hide behind the internet. Absolutely crazy, man. But when will this world learn that when you keep beating down people, when you keep on attacking people, there's only so much somebody can take before they snap and break.